Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Mike Armstrong podcast show. And this evening, we're joined by Ollie Clarke, who's based on the south coast in England, near Portsmouth. And he is a photographer, a puzzler, a puzzle seller, and also an advocate for small business. So a bit like myself, really. I'm an advocate for all business. So how are you doing today, Ollie? You okay?
Yeah, really good. Not bad at all. It's great to do this on a Saturday evening. So couldn't think of anything better. So,
No, brilliant. Yeah, well, I love podcasting as well. So although it's Saturday evening prime time and there's some good TV on as well, I like to podcast with people whenever I can. And so I have a lot of people on from the States as well. So I do a lot of stuff in the evening because that's afternoon time for them over there. So that keeps me busy. I get lots on from the States. But how is life treating you at the moment?
yeah, it's weird. Like it's very relaxed at the moment.
Yeah.
So if you ask me that question, how's life at the moment? If it was last year, I'd be saying absolutely manic because I really was had absolutely tons of work on, but which I will talk about in a bit. But very relaxed. Work is coming through, but it's nice to be at this pace and still have money coming in and still being relaxed. Whereas this time last year, I was just manic, mad off my feet, going into my main busy season. But all I was thinking about then was money. But now it's very much more enjoying life, being relaxed, and creating new opportunities, which is very much what I'm doing at the moment.
Yeah, okay. And you do obviously the photography, the puzzle selling, and the retail stuff, the gift stuff. Yeah. Which one is your sort of primary focus, if there is one that's primary?
So the main focus is definitely the pet photography. That's the main business.
Yeah.
There's a big story behind it. Do you want me to go into the story about how everything began?
Tell us how it's all about.
Yeah, so basically I first got into business actually quite young when I was 24. And a Facebook post went viral. And overnight I became a pet photographer, which was completely unplanned, never been in business. And it's really been an amazing journey, and I've had to learn and adapt along the way. So yeah, my photography studio now has been going for 5 years, which has been really good. It's I mainly work from home. This is my studio here, where I am now. But I also used to do a lot of dog shows, which I did for several years. And then in 2018, here in the UK, it was really, really hot weather. And I made the decision to stop those for the reason that the dogs were not enjoying it. And from the pictures, the dogs looked boiling hot and the picture photos looked awful. The owners didn't enjoy being in a boiling hot marquee, and I wasn't enjoying it. These were a huge part of my income. So I had to put out a message to the small business community in the area and tell them what's going on. And I said, look, I can't run dog shows ethically anymore. And I would like to put my studio in and bring it to business workplaces instead. So I completely adapted and I changed that to work within business premises. And very quickly, my work became of a really high standard. And the dogs didn't look knackered. I wasn't in a boiling hot place. And the pictures looked great. So that was really, really good. So I did that for about 2 years, just driving all over the place, setting up my studio, having about 4 events a week. They're very, very good money. So I was putting on absolutely loads of them. And then COVID hit. And I literally lost everything for about 4 months. So my studio had to close. And I physically could not do nothing in this period. And that's when I became a jigsaw puzzle seller. So I now sell jigsaws all over the world. with that business, which has been a really, really amazing time. And I've ended up on a lot of large radio and TV stations because of adapting and pivoting during these times.
Yeah. Okay. Good. Yeah. So, how did you come across the jigsaw puzzle selling opportunity?
Yeah, so that was quite interesting. Another really bizarre story, completely by accident. And this was mid-lockdown, well, early lockdown in March time. It was my sister's birthday, and she's got special needs. She loves jigsaws, so I went online to buy her a jigsaw. And I bought her a jigsaw. It was a personalised jigsaw puzzle of our dogs. But at the time, Royal Mail was not delivering. There were huge problems at the start of lockdown with getting stuff out there because they had to reduce their staff numbers, and it can take 3-4 weeks for a parcel to come through. So it didn't come on time, so I ordered through another company, which I found online. And these jigsaw puzzles were really, really cheap, and far cheaper than the other company. I contacted the guy who owned the company and asked why it was so cheap. Yeah. And you guys, they just are. They're really good quality. Don't worry about the quality. Just buy from me and you'll be happy. So he did the whole sales pitch, and he was right. The quality was absolutely amazing. And to start off with, I sold just my work on jigsaws. But I quickly discovered that it wasn't the right images for jigsaws. So I then started working with artists. Now I work with around 25 artists, and I put their artworks onto jigsaws. And I also have a personalised range where I turn family photos into jigsaws, which is really, really popular. So they were very popular at the start of lockdown when people families couldn't see each other. And a big part of it was family photos of babies which had just been newborn, where the grandparents couldn't see their grandchildren, so they would send jigsaw puzzles of the family photos instead, which was really, really popular.
Yeah, it's a good idea. Well, it was a sort of perfect storm, wasn't it, of a good supplier, a unique creative spin on it, from a photographer's mind and what, people like to collect, if you like, or see pictures-wise, and an audience who were locked down looking for activities or something to do, with their time.
Yeah, no, it's been really, really good. It's been a huge learning curve because I'd never been down an e-commerce route. So selling online is very, very different to the marketing strategies which I use in my pet photography studio. So for my pet photography studio, I mainly advertise through Facebook ads, and they do really, really well. And I get a lot of work through Facebook ads. But with jigsaws, they don't work at all. And jigsaws, I rely on PR, a lot of PR, a lot of podcasting, radio interviews, and they are what I generally find is the best way for getting my message out, telling my story, and getting people buying. So I've been on quite a few large ones. So I've been on Radio 4's Money Box series, and I've also been on Radio 5 Live. The Radio 4 Money Box series was the first radio interview I've ever done, and didn't go so well to plan. But what was amazing was listening to it back and seeing where I'd gone wrong. And the main thing what I did wrong was I didn't mention my business name. I then did the Radio 5 Live one, and I mentioned my business name, which is Puzzle Crazy, just to bring it in.
So you haven't mentioned it yet?
Because I hadn't mentioned it. So Puzzle Crazy, I mentioned my business name. And this was peak time. This was 6 o'clock when people were driving home from work. I had 40 people like my Facebook page in the space of 2 minutes, and I had 6 jigsaw puzzle orders. And that was literally just by mentioning my Facebook name and telling my story, which has been really, really amazing. So I listened to that, and I've also been on a lot of other large radio stations, interviews, podcasting. And I'm always keen to get my name out through podcasting and radio to talk about jigsaws, because I generally find that it's the best way about it. Because I can sell jigsaws anywhere in the world, I can hop on any podcast and it's fine. Whereas with my pet photography, it's very localized. So I can only be in, I don't tend to do radios for that, because it's literally just along the south coast. It's within about 20 miles is where the demographics of my customers are. So yeah, it's very interesting adapting and changing and looking at what works for my business, especially with marketing, which has been really good.
Yeah, well, I'm a sales and marketing consultant, trainer, service provider. I used to be a corporate sales director for a fast growth tech startup business. And since then, I've been self-employed for the last 8 years, helping people with their sales and marketing strategies. And a lot of people ask me, what is the secret to sales and marketing, if you like, And actually, you just covered it, quite well there. Is try a lot of stuff, see what works, measure it, and keep doing the stuff that works and lessen the stuff that don't.
Yeah, I totally agree. So it's all about testing and measuring and what it is. So that's literally exactly what I did with dog shows. So I was testing and measuring. I found that outdoor dog shows didn't work, but the indoor ones, oh my God, working in aircon was absolutely flipping heavenly compared to, I remember 2018, I think one of the days I was in a marquee and it was 36 degrees, forcing dogs to sit on a table in boiling hot heat. And it really just didn't work. And I mean, this is not right. I wasn't enjoying it. No one was enjoying it. It's just experimenting with different things. And I found podcasting as being a brilliant way to get my message out.
Yeah, definitely. And like you say, it's about understanding who your target market is, what area you're looking to target, etc. And obviously, like you said, locally, you're better off doing local events, or maybe you could do a bit of local radio or podcasting, but they're harder to find because you're looking for very few people, if you like. But then obviously when you're global, you can do anything, you can do all sorts of things. So when I say like try anything and measure it, well, on a global basis, there's so many different things you can try to reach the world. I myself created my podcast to reach the world because, it's something that's a growing art form. Lots of people around the world listen to it. It's similar to blogging, which I've been doing for 15 years. So that's just like, put everything you've written about for 15 years into an audio format and stick it on the podcast. And then also as well, I put it on the YouTube as well. And actually video is the most sort of consumed medium at the moment. So actually not just going on podcasts, but actually getting videos like this will be, putting it onto YouTube and your keywords and stuff, and actually putting some of your own video content on there would be a good way of you reaching people as well.
So for me, a big reason why I do video podcasting instead of blogging is because I can't write, but I can talk for flipping England. And I can tell my story through audio easily, but then if I have to put it on pen and paper, I can't do it. So I use my voice as much as possible to talk about my story, how it began, and yeah, it's working. It's doing really well. Getting my voice out, word out through any audio or video means. But I totally agree what you say about that. It's very interesting how so many people were terrified of video, but as soon as then they were on Zoom, and everyone had to move to Zoom, they realized actually it's actually quite easy doing it. But holding a mobile phone out like that is really horrible to film. So whenever I do video, I always do it on my actual computer and never do it on my mobile phone, for the reason that that's what I'm most comfortable with. And I can talk for England like this, but as soon as I've got a mobile phone, the arm angle's uncomfortable, and it's just not me. So it's working out how to do it well.
Yeah, that's right. When I started doing my first YouTube videos, I was using a phone and filming them, and they were very static. Because one, I wasn't used to talking to nobody. I've been in sales all my life. I'm used to talking to customers. and people, and having that interaction. And so having, a one-way conversation with a device is a lot different, And so, and also creating energy as well is difficult when you're static and you can't do something. But again, I use Zoom for all my videos. So again, you can be a bit more animated. You're not holding anything, you're not rigid, etc. So I use Zoom for dual chats like this. But a little tip for you as well is I use Zoom for recording myself. So I have a chat with the computer, just like I'm in a Zoom call, but I just, talking to the computer, and then I just output the recording for that as well. So that's a little idea for you for your YouTube.
Yeah, I do exactly the same as you for that. But what's really interesting is last year, in the last 5 years, it was all about having professional video quality. And now things have gone backwards, where you can't get in, well, you can now, but mid-lockdown, you couldn't book a videographer to come and film you because it wasn't safe. So Zoom was a very cheap and affordable way of doing it. And now that whole shift. So I paid for professional videos to be done last year, just in November, December. But actually what's happening is now is with the jigsaws, I wouldn't go and pay for professional video for the reason that I can literally do exactly all I need actually through Zoom.
Yeah, exactly. All you need is some of your jigsaws and just showcase them and talk about them and, put your passion into it, because people like passion and enthusiasm. And they also like authenticity, which is the buzzword at the moment now. And so the trend is, because I suppose it was a forced trend, like you say, people couldn't get stuff done professionally, and the Zoom, everyone went online quickly. And so people had to just create their own content. But that actually has got people thinking, you know what, authenticity in content and being real rather than having it staged and polished is actually better. It's more authentic, and you can get a flavor for the person behind it and creating it, rather than, all the videos looking the same and you can't really tell which ones are the sort of personality you'd want to deal with.
See, I really agree. If I look at the videos which I've done, I'm very wooden. I'm very quite nervous in the videos, whereas now recording on this it's literally like having a chat, and it really doesn't bother me doing it through Zoom, even though it's a bit pixelated, but I can still get my message across and to everyone, and it really doesn't. Yeah, it really doesn't matter about the quality. So anyone who's watching this who thinks like, oh, I want to get into video, do it on here. Get Zoom. You can record straight to Facebook and do Facebook Lives. Facebook Lives on a mobile phone are absolutely flipping damn horrible. But doing it through Zoom and sitting here, I do them all the time, where I'm just sitting, goes through to Facebook Live, and I'm totally, completely relaxed doing them. And it's not nerve-wracking at all.
No, that's right. And, I'm somebody who's massively into personal development and personal growth and business growth and just constantly growing and developing. And a lot of people are frightened of getting outside of their comfort zone. But the reason why a lot of people are doing video now is because, like you said, they got used to doing Zoom all of the time. And so they realize, well, I'm on video talking all day long anyway. So that nervousness of doing something different and something outside your comfort zone is gone, because once you do something a lot, then you become expert with it, comfortable with it, and it's no longer uncomfortable. So that's a good message that I'd like to just put into this as well, is that, if you do something regularly for a while, then you will get comfortable with it, and it'll become part of your comfort zone then, and not just be out of it,
I really agree. So when I first started using Zoom, which was like March time, so I'm part of a franchise networking group on the South Coast, and they flipped everything into online. I was like, nah, I don't want to do that. And then I got invited to go along. I was like, all right, okay, do it. And start off with, I absolutely flipping damn hated it. But the amount of sales I've got through networking, through Zoom, has been absolutely amazing for my business. And I would say it probably takes about 8 times of doing Zoom for you to start getting comfortable with it. But it's really worth just practicing, getting on with friends and just doing it, and seeing how it goes. Just talking with a friend, catching up with a friend, and gradually you'll get used to it. And it's really pretty damn easy, to be honest with you.
Yeah, definitely. So, you're also a small business advocate, and you also said you do something to do with gifts and gifting, etc. So tell us a little bit about that and how that all come about.
Yeah, so at the start of lockdown, it was very interesting. I could see my business going down and having to stop. And I was talking with one of my friends, Dawn, and I go, this is the time for us to support small businesses. So I set up a Facebook group down on the South Coast to start off with, called the South Coast Business Market. This group is great. It's still going. It's got over 1,000 followers on it. But the problem with this group is spam. Everyone is spamming. Very difficult to get your name out. So I then created another group about 2 weeks ago called the South Coast Virtual Gift Market. And this group is actually a membership one. You have to pay to be part of this group to promote your gifts. It's a very cheap membership. It's only £5 for the year. But the brilliant thing about it is only people who paid that money can actually promote. Sorry, say that again?
It keeps the spammers out.
It keeps the spammers out because if they want to spam it, they've got to pay. Yeah. So yeah, and the quality, what I've now got in the group, is far better than the quality on the other group, because the people who have no interest in paying, they won't join. So I've got really, really high quality people. A lot of them are on the south. I've got people from all over. But a big reason why I set this group up is because, as I said earlier, I used to go to a lot of markets, set up market stalls, attend fairs and gift shows and everything. But a lot of these won't be happening this year. Oh. So basically, for a lot of these businesses, they're really going to struggle because a lot of them rely on the Christmas trade, and that's not going to be there. So I created an online platform for people to be able to purchase beautiful gifts, really amazing gifts online. And these traders can still work and do business despite it not being in the usual way of doing it. Instead of it being face-to-face, they can sell it all through Facebook. And I've now got almost 100 traders in 2 weeks, which is really not bad going. And literally, some of the traders which I'm coming on, the really, really amazing high-end gifts, which is really beautiful.
Yeah, good, great idea. And those small businesses do need the assistance, and so yeah, it's great idea, and well done on that. And likewise, I'm a sales and marketing director for an online global network. They used to be local in Wales, but they pivoted to doing online events and start getting people all around the UK. And now we're getting people all around the world. And again, we charge £599 to join that, but you get much better people joining because it's a paid-for event than if it was a free event.
Yeah, I'm generally finding that too, and you filter out the dud quality and everything. Yeah. So yeah, these really, really cheap, tacky stuff, luckily they have no interest in being in the group, and they're not really businesses. Whereas the people I'm attracting by charging are really high quality, and the price will go up on the group when the more people who get into it, the price will go up. But it's just amazing being able to support businesses in this time and helping them to adapt and everything and change when they really could be stuffed during these times. But it's not actually, I'm not actually the first person to do a virtual gift market. There actually are quite a lot of them around. Yeah. But there isn't one specifically for the South Coast. So I set one up so people can take part, promote themselves and get sales, and it's working. I mean, every time people are posting things up, pretty much, it was like, oh, I want to buy from you, which is really positive. So I'm pretty happy with how the group's going.
Are they just gifters in there selling their gifts, or are there people paying a £5 to be able to attend the market as well as non-gift suppliers, if you like?
No, so anyone can be part of the group. So you could just join as yourself. because if it was just gift traders in the group, they wouldn't really sell that much.
No.
So I've got about 600 odd people in the group now, but around 95 traders. So it's actually a really good ratio. So there's more punters than there are traders. So their products have been seen really well, but on the group, because it's a good ratio of trader to general public, which makes it really good and beneficial for the trader. And when people become a trader, I ask them that they invite their friends and any traders they know to the group, so it grows. And this group's only been going 2 weeks, and it's got almost it's got 600 followers in 2 weeks, so it's growing and growing. And because marketing is a huge interest of mine, I've been able to put a lot of time into it and grow this group completely naturally, which has worked really well.
Yeah, that's good as well. So I got a friend who sells franchises for a business called Things to Do In Limited. And he's based in Essex, and he's got London and the sort of southeast. But I don't think he's gone as far as the south coast yet. So if you're interested in helping small businesses, basically what he does is he's got a platform called Things to Do In, which is for attractions. And obviously there's a lot of attractions down in the south coast. But because the things to do in, like Things to Do in Portsmouth, Southampton, Things to Do on the south coast, that sort of stuff gets searched a lot by visitors to the area, it gets a lot of traffic. And so because it gets a lot of traffic, it outranks all the other directories in the area. So he actually turns them into general business directories.
Okay.
Yeah, and all the businesses get a landing page basically on the website. So there's like a virtual website. For some people, it's been like a Facebook page or a website within the site, and it gets ranked high for the various keywords you describe their mini page as, or their landing page as. So and obviously, go on.
So I work in advertising also for a magazine, which I do on the side to support businesses, and I think any way a business can get themselves known is great. So if you were to put yourself in 30 or 40 different directories and get yourself known, it's really great for businesses. So I can see why it's a successful model for many businesses doing that.
Yeah, and the franchise is like next to nothing really. So I might send you some information, and maybe you might be interested, or maybe someone you know might be interested. But he's a great guy. He's got about 10 franchisees so far. Started in Essex, and he's worked his way around. And he's looking for franchisees all around the world. It's going to be like a major successful business, and it's just in the early stages. It's a great thing to get involved in if either it's suitable for you or somebody you may know. But
definitely take a look. I'll have a look. So yeah, I mean, I'm a big believer in having several streams of income. So now that when my photography studio was closed, I realized that my business was not COVID proof. And so having more than one stream of income has been very important. So I'm very keen to expand into different areas for the reason that I know that my photography studio could close again, but having something which is COVID proof is really important during these times.
Yeah, there's also, if you get synergy businesses, so for example, with a directory, you can put your own businesses on there as the landing pages and heavily promote them as a company promoting them. So you get 2 or 3 bites of the cherry. You get to market yourself as yourself. You get to market yourself then as a thing to do or as a business attraction in Portsmouth, yeah? So like a things to do. So you can find the things to do angle. So things to do could be, take your dogs out. One day when you're on holiday in the south coast and the weather's not very good, bring your dogs to my studio and I'll take a picture of you with your dogs or something like that, So you can come up with an attraction, and put it in there. You could put your.
I've actually only ever had one person do that. I had someone come down from Sheffield, for a few days, but that's all I've had. I've had very little, in terms of holiday goers come down and do it. It's not something which I've had a lot of, but I'm not on those kind of directories. I'm on a few directories,
Yeah.
but haven't done a lot and looked into it really.
Yeah,
So.
yeah, but like you say, it's at the moment you're not anywhere where holidaymakers would find you. But if you was on like a things to do site, then you would be able to be found. So
Yeah,
it all
exactly.
depends. Yeah, it all depends on the routine. Like it's a bit like you said you do gifts. I used to sell gifts. I used to do Swarovski crystal shoes and handbags, but we also used to sell them as gifts, like gift certificates or gifts for Christmas, gifts for her, gifts for anniversary or whatever. And a lot of people don't realise there's lots of different ways of selling the same thing, and lots of different people looking for different keyword terms and all the rest of that. And the more you can appeal to all of the different people looking for the same things, so like a puzzle, for example, instead of just ranking for crazy puzzles or puzzles online or great value puzzles or whatever, if for example you put all of your puzzles on a landing page called birthday gifts, yeah, or birthday gift ideas, yeah, or Christmas gift ideas, what I used to do is I used to create social media accounts called gifts for her, gifts for him, that sort of thing, and build a following then. And so you can sell your product as a product, but you can also sell it as a gift.
Yeah, no, I actually know someone who does something very similar. So I don't know if you've heard of the buy and sell groups, but I know someone who has about 250 buy and sell groups. Yeah. And in the banner thing, he has his business. Yeah. So yeah, he set these groups up to support businesses. Very trashy as buy and sell is, but his main reason for doing it is promoting and advertising himself. And it works really well for him because you can say it, and it's having many different ways of marketing yourself. So I market my jigsaws and my pet photography through my gift market. And I do it through my Facebook page, radio, as many ways as possible really to get my name out there and get heard and seen. As such, so experimenting with lots of different ways of marketing,
and also really ways of delivering, ways of selling this. So, for example, with your puzzles, you could do like a subscription where they buy 4 puzzles a year or 12, and you invoice them quarterly or monthly, and they're on a subscription, and it just automatically goes out every month,
Really agree. Is actually something I have been looking into and thinking, but at the moment what my main aim is just growing it gradually and doing things slowly, but a gift subscription is something which I'm really interested in doing, and I probably will do that in the early part of next year and get that going. So yeah, it's just building things gradually is how I do it. So I see what's working and what I can improve on to get things going better. So yeah, but no, definitely agree with that.
Yeah, definitely. And again, something else I don't know if you do, but I know as somebody who likes puzzles myself, I'm not really a jigsaw puzzler, but I like all sorts of puzzles. I like solving problems, but I know there are 3D puzzles. I don't know if you sell them or not, but it's just always different places where you can expand and grow and push boundaries in order to keep. To me, life is about just keep growing, keep developing, keep improving, keep adding synergy products, keep being clever and working out how everything you do can knit together so that you get the compound effect of one thing feeding the other and vice versa. So just like, when you take a picture of the pets, you should be offering that they can buy the photo, or they can buy a canvas with the photo on, or they can buy a puzzle with the photo on, etc.
Yeah, so I'm already offering the jigsaw puzzle as the thing, but it's not a main thing what I promote in my studio because there's very little profit. Yeah. But there are so many different trends in jigsaws. So the 3D puzzle is massive. There's also the see-through clear jigsaw, which is just a piece of perspex cut with the jigsaw in, no pitch on it, and you've got to put it together. Then there's a gradient jigsaw, which is pretty much just a gradient shade, and then you kind of have to create it. And then you get these silly ones, which are like a photo of just loads of nails together, or a picture of baked beans, or picture of grass, and then you've got to make that. So there's a lot of these silly trends going on which you can tap into. But my main focus is fine art jigsaws. So they are high quality, really beautiful art. And then I have the personalised range with it. So it's kind of the two markets what I have. Well, there's actually three, because I also do collage jigsaws where you can have up to 7 pictures on a jigsaw, which is also really, really popular.
I had 2 really good ideas for you. There's a guy in Wales sells a lot of his art, which is all beautiful pictures of whales and dogs, and he does all sorts of stuff. But he might be interested
No, I'd be really interested to.
Yeah,
really
he might be interested in the puzzle side of things. So I'll do an introduction to you, yeah, and
that'd be great.
A good introduction. But the other thing I thought you could do actually is you could put a number of different puzzles into a gift box, like a nice one, where you provide it as like a Christmas gift set, you know, for the puzzler in your life. So that, you know, you might have like a 3D puzzle. It could have like a fine art one. It could have one of those plastic perspex ones, and a silly, you know, all
range,
or beans, like, you know, sell it as a package.
Yeah, so I do try and sell packages, but they haven't really worked that well. But around the Christmas period, I think I will have a lot more sales. But my main focus is actually the personalised jigsaw puzzles is what's going to sell best at Christmas. It's in the UK, they like the personalised stuff, and because I sell them globally, it's America where they really like the art jigsaws. Believe it or not, I sell a lot to the Asian community, which is really quite bizarre, because I've never had an Asian in my photography studio, but Asians love jigsaw puzzles. So yeah, they are a great market because they have huge families. So by targeting one of them, they buy more than one because they'll give it to an aunt and a grandparent and a brother and another brother.
You could look at Asian weddings because they're always massive, and everyone goes to them as well. So you could do a set for the bride and groom with their favourite photo from the wedding, and then it goes to all the family members as well.
Yeah, so because Asians are a big market for me, I'm actually on a lot of Asian business Facebook pages, because they are a huge market for me to what I want as customers, because they're very good customers, because they enjoy it. So I'm in a lot of Asian photography, Asian wedding groups, because they are the market what I want to get into. I haven't actually put an Asian wedding onto a jigsaw, but I can see it happening pretty soon.
Yeah, I can see that as well. And from what you've said, the development of your business, and the other thing which would be a good marketing strategy for you as well, actually, because I just like helping people. So another one which I've thought of is at Christmas time, people send out those family photos, you know, of them with the kids and everything. They send them out.
So they are my most popular product.
Yeah.
So I sell 8 or 9 personalized jigsaw puzzles a week.
Yeah.
So people can send it out, and they really do. I'm already on it with them. They are very easy to sell, really popular gifts.
You search though Instagram, Twitter, Facebook for like the hashtags and stuff, and for those photos, and actually rather than wait for people to contact you in order for them to turn their pictures into puzzles, why don't you contact them and say, oh, I can see you love sending out family photos at Christmas and that. Have you thought about turning any of them into puzzles? So you'd be more proactive rather than reactive, like, you know?
Yeah, so what I'm actually doing is I'm using Twitter and I'm using Instagram and Facebook, but I've got a PR agent which I'm working with at the moment, and she's sending free jigsaw puzzle out to influencers. So I'm working with a lady called Sarah Ty, who's one of the top PR people in the country, and she sends them out to influencers, and then and then promotes them on her page. And these are huge influencers with like 20,000 followers. Some of them have even got 200,000 followers on them. And I pay nothing to be on it. I pay the PR agent, but she doesn't pay for me to be on part of those groups. So she knows where these successful bloggers and influencers are, and I send them out free jigsaw puzzles, and in the end I get really good return on it, which is really good.
Yeah, nice. Yeah, that's a good strategy as well. And obviously she's the one who also gets you the radio gigs, I guess, as well, is she?
No, actually, the radio gigs is the radio found me.
Oh, did they?
So basically, I've been working with the PR lady for just over a month now. And so the fact that last month's main focus was working with bloggers and influencers. But I'm going to be doing press releases and sending those out. Well, she's going to be sending them out on my behalf to be interviewed on radio and TV. And that's a big focus for me, is getting on them, because the more of those I do, the generally the better I find them. And these really big channels is brilliant for my business.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I was just having a look on my phone now. I seen a pop-up earlier. There's a friend of mine, sort of more an acquaintance than a friend, but somebody I've met, who's got an online directory business for pet-friendly businesses all around the country.
Okay.
And she's had a lot of
Brilliant.
PR and stuff.
What's the name of that one? Is that Dog's Pajamas
No,
or?
it's called Pet something. I'll have to dig it out for you and then do an introduction.
Yeah, no, that'd be interesting to see what that one is. There are quite a few of them. There's the Good Dog Guide, which is massive. So a lot of these directories. But my issue is I'm a very select area where I can promote myself on the south, because people won't travel for 2 hours for a photo of their dog. It's normally within an hour that I get people.
They're all dog lovers, all the people who use the site. So if you put yourself on there's a pet-friendly business, you could say to them, send us your best picture of the dog and we'll send it to you either on a puzzle or as a gift or whatever,
Oh, the gift thing, I definitely think I should do that and put the jigsaw puzzles on there. I think that's actually something I should really focus on. So that would work really well.
Because pet owners, they love their dogs, and friends of mine have got 3 dogs, and she got a canvas from the artist that I'm going to put you in touch with. His name's Chris. She's got a self-portrait of each of the dogs, which he done.
Brilliant.
She's also bought other pictures of him as well, because he's an art. He does art of places like Tenby and stuff like that. Down West Wales, and she got a holiday home down there, so she had a couple for her holiday home and some for the house and whatever. So, once you get in with a pet owner or with a bit of art or whatever, or somebody who loves puzzles or whatever, they come back for more, don't they? Generally, they don't just buy it as a one-off,
Brilliant, amazing. Yeah, no, any way of doing it. I think directories is a big focus. Something I need to get into. Something I've done very little of. Well, I haven't hardly done any of it, to be honest with you. So something I need to focus on, definitely.
Yeah, brilliant. Well, I'm all about connecting with people, because what goes around comes around, So next time, you know someone who wants to come on a podcast or whatever, you'll think of me if I send someone your way. That's the way networking works. I'm a massive networker anyway, so I always like to do something. Don't just meet someone, but do something for them. Give them some value. Give them some value.
Amazing.
Something comes back in return, if not from them, but from someone else in the universe,
Yeah, so am I. I actually run a networking group on Thursdays.
Oh, do you?
It has no name. You have to be invited to it. It's in a circle. So but it's at 1:15. So if you do want to come along to it, I can invite you to it. But we roughly get around between 8 to 20 people each week. And yeah, it's a really, really amazing group. Quite a small group, but I don't want my group big. Because it's all about the quality of the people. And when you've got a large networking group, you can't network that well. And I generally find that the smaller networking groups, when you've got a small one, the conversations are more meaningful, and business is made. So I'm keeping my group very tight and close knit down where I am.
What's really good when you've got a small one, a small network, is to bring people in who are proper networkers, who've got a big network, and that's what I've got. So if you like, there's only one person in the room, but I represent a lot of people when I go networking, because I've got a lot of connections, lead referral partners, business partners, collaborators, and plus I'm a member of, I used to be a member of Intrabiz, which is the place I'm now a sales and marketing director for. And they're a massive network themselves. So like, if I meet somebody in the South Coast, for example, and they want to do business in Wales, or they're looking for somebody, that they haven't met in the South Coast, then I can introduce them to people. I actually know people in Brighton as well, and Sussex, and I know people in London and Essex, and I know people in the Southwest, Devon, Cornwall, and Bristol, and I know people all around the world. So yeah, so I'd love to come along and see if I can help any of those people that you get regularly, if I can help them in any way,
Amazing. So the kind of businesses which actually come to my group are businesses which are UK-wide businesses.
Yeah.
So my group is all along the coast and anywhere actually in the UK. So I've got people in my group in Bristol. I've got one from Swansea, Sheffield, Northampton, Brighton, Southampton, all over the place. I've got people, and it's really great. It's amazing the different kind of businesses which you meet. Whereas back in the days of face-to-face networking, you never would have met these people. But because now everything has been brought together online, you can literally network all over the country and meet amazing business owners, which I do a lot of. I do a lot of networking all over the place online to get my message out and promote, and it works. It's really working. So.
Well, I do an event on a Thursday evening, 7 till 9, which is morning time in America. But there's people from all around the world, and it's speed networking. So there's like, between 40 and 80 people on that one. But they do breakout rooms, and there's only like 4 or 5. And then you might go through, say, 4 or 5 breakout rooms during the event. So you might get to speak to, say, 20 people or 25 people.
Brilliant. I actually run one once a month, but I'm looking to do speed networking twice a month because it's really, really popular. You actually have really good conversations and you get to know people really well through speed networking. So it's definitely something I enjoy, and it's great for connections and getting to know people. And it's amazing that 1 minute, when you've got only 1 minute to speak to someone, how if you can get yourself across well, people will get to know you really well and buy from you. But you've only got a minute to speak it, so you're very condensed, and you only highlight the main parts of your business in that time, which works so well.
I've been in sales and marketing for a long time, and I've been able to, basically get anything I pitch over the years into a line, a sentence, one line. So a minute is a long time, and I don't even need a minute sometimes, because I always say, learn an elevator pitch. So, if you're only going up one floor, you may only get 10 seconds or 20 seconds. And when you just send emails out to say to people, or you're doing a bit of cold calling, or you're doing a bit of cold emailing, or people have asked you for an email, sometimes you've got to sum up what you do in that title of the email. And if you can get used to putting what you do in that title or in that headline, then that's all you need to say. All you got to do is give people the headline. People don't buy newspapers for the content, they buy it for the headline, and they spend a lot of time and money on that one headline. So all you need to do is give people the headline. If they like the headline, they'll come back and read the content, or they'll follow up with you in a more detailed meeting where you can give them the meat on the bone. But to entice them, all you got to do is give them the headline, which is in marketing terms, it's the what's in it for them.
Yeah, no, I agree, especially with the elevator bit. So I have to promote 3 businesses in 30 seconds, and I can do it. Yeah. But it's because I practice and practice, and I do it over and over again. But to start off with, it took me about a minute and a half. But now getting the key points out is really important. And the amount of people who are taking up with this gift market from this networking franchise is amazing. So even though it's just a $5 which I make each time, it's growing and growing and growing, which is really brilliant for getting sales and getting people coming through, which is really great.
Yeah, definitely. I'm conscious that we're coming up to an hour now, and it's a Saturday evening. So I'm sure we both, would love to carry on talking. I can talk to entrepreneurs. I love business and I love talking, all evening about business. But I'm conscious it's a Saturday evening and you probably got things you
Not a
want to be
problem.
doing. So I'm going to say thank you very much for coming on the podcast and telling us a little bit about your journey.
Brilliant. Well, thank you for having me. I really enjoyed it. So that's been great. So thank you.
No problem at all. And let me know about that event on Thursday on, how did we connect? On Facebook, I think, wasn't it? On Messenger. So
yeah, no, definitely. I'll invite you along. So we've got some great people on it. So
and I'll invite you along
really
to our networking event, which is Friday morning, 9 till 11. If you can make that, and we do it every Friday night.
Yeah, no, I can do that.
Yeah, so
brilliant. Yeah, no.
We'll both join each other's networks and to see where we can develop the relationship on further.
Yeah, no, definitely. That's what it's all about. So, yeah, do you mind if I just quickly mention links where people can find me, where my business is?
Go for it. Yeah, go for it.
So, yeah, if you happen to be down on the South Coast and you'd like your pets photographed, you can contact me through my Facebook page at facebook.com/Port and Claw Photography. And then for the jigsaw puzzles, my website is puzzlecrazy.co.uk. And on Facebook, it is facebook.com/Puzzle Crazy UK. So you can find it there. And if you sell gifts, the group is called the South Coast Virtual Gift Market. So you can find them all there. And yeah, great to have you make a puzzle for you, or if you want to join the gift market, that'd be really good.
Brilliant, well done. That's lots of ways of getting in touch with you, and hopefully, like I say, this video is going to live on my YouTube channel, and the podcast audio will be on my podcast for a long time to come. So hopefully, I'll sell you some puzzles and deliver some customers to you, and get you some photos done and all of that over the time of its life. And at some point in the future, I may well turn some of my content into a documentary about COVID and how business dealt with the changes that were forced upon them during this time. So you never know; you might get some really big PR from it one day. That's my plan.
I actually get contacted. That's the main thing. What I get contacted on is my pivot story. I hate that word, but yeah, no, always happy to talk about that and being part of anything, because it's quite an unusual story. So yeah, my dream is to have within the next year 6 or 7 streams of income coming through. I
might be able to help you out with a couple of those, because I've got a couple of really good ones as well. So being part of a network, so I'll speak to you about that when we do. Thursday or Friday or whatever. Yeah, we'll catch up a bit more on that. And if ever you get asked for your pivot story and they want other pivot stories, then I actually have got one myself. So I've gone from being a sales and marketing agency to being more a speaker, coach, mentor and podcaster during this time, and instead of working more UK wide, I'm now working national. So that's quite an interesting pivot story. But also I've had loads of people on my podcast, which we most of them have pivoted. So again, if ever you get asked, do you know anyone else or whatever, then always happy to have a chat with them myself and send them to other people as well. So bear that in mind. And yeah, and also I've got a couple of contacts, one for a radio station in Newport, one for a radio station in the Welsh Valleys, and one for a radio station in Essex, who are always interested in speaking to people as well. So there we are. There's just so much value I can offer you.
Yeah, no, that'd be really good. Yeah, send them my way. The more the better. So always looking for that. So that would be really handy. So I'm very, very interested in that, actually. Yeah. So yeah, that's right up my street doing that. So
okay.
Yeah.
Lovely. All right, then you have a great evening, and there's nothing else left for me to say other than have a great day. I know I will. Thank you very much for listening.
Fantastic. Thank you for having me.
Bye. Bye.